And we are live for the third time today. But this time, correctly, I might add, for House of the Dragons. Who is excited to have their hearts grabbed from their chest and ripped out once more as we continue to go through the house of Team Black versus Team Green? Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here, back for Geek Variants to cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, House of the Dragon. And I gotta say, we already have people like Aaron who have already commented saying they're getting ready for this show. And I gotta say, it's going to be another action packed episode based upon the trailer that we saw last week for this week's episode. We're going to get to see more of what Daemon decides to do. Will he continue to be the usual Targaryen temper tantrum that he is? Or is he going to try and actually do something selfless for once in his life? Because, Daemon's going to Daemon. I love the character, but at the same time, maturity and patience are definitely not two strong suits of his. Along those lines, we also need to talk about everything that transpired last week. And everything that happened last week was a bunch of tomfoolery at its finest. Last week's episode focused primarily on three characters who exemplified what the lack of patience and a lack of understanding does: Aegon, Sir Christian Cole, the stupid, because my God, is this guy dumb, and then Daemon. All three characters last week personified what impatience and foolishness looks exactly like, down to a finite T. And then the Targaryen temper tantrum rolled right on through town. What's up, Aaron? Welcome on in. Your boy will be here shortly. He is just running a little bit late at this time, but he'll be here. But look, with everything going on from last week's episode, Christian Cole could not deal with the sins of the fact that he was in bed with the queen and wasn't able to do anything and do anything at all. I'm getting right there to that point, Aaron. You know exactly where I'm going. That he was more or less just struggling with this weight of his own sins. So he sent off one of the brothers, Sir Eric, don't know which of the Eric with an A or Eric with an E, doesn't really seem to matter, to go off and fight the battle to rectify his own sins because, you can't really guard the royal family when you're inside of the royal family. Kind of makes things a little bit difficult. And now all of a sudden, he found himself getting promoted through the weight of his own sins to be, on one hand, he's the head of the king's guard, and the next, he's now the hand of the king while slowly working on becoming the king's dad. Things are confusing, but again, this is Westeros. Has anything ever been sufficiently explained in a way that doesn't somehow or some way make you somehow question the fact that people who are almost related are still finding ways to become related or have relations with people they are related to? I'm just saying, Westeros is a wild place, and sure, Christian Cole's stupidity has continued to triumph over everybody and everything. On the surface, you think, oh yes, no one will ever detect the twins, and heck, it almost literally worked. But I think that was more due to Eric's ability to get things done than anything that transpired having to do with Christian Cole's plan. Sometimes you can have the dumbest leaders possible and still have one of the best forces in the world behind you. Just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And now let's talk about force, because man, did someone want to have force a temper tantrum and the likes of most Targaryens never could see. Daemon. Look, I love the character. He is my favorite character on the show, albeit being one of the darkest and sometimes the most childish character on screen. You just sometimes love them flawed. But Daemon, being who he is, finally got called out accurately by his wife, saying, hey, dude, you've been doing this for you since day one. You have never once been a ride or die for me. You've just made everything on the surface to make these things work. And I believe without a shadow of a doubt, he has flown off to Harrenhal to go and try and rectify the situation because he thinks winning this one particular place is going to make all the air and weight of his sins moot. Because let's be honest here. If he did this, he would get further glory upon himself. He would look good. He would look like he was the one who came up with this plan on his own. He would look like the one who had the ability to take action when nobody else could. He sees an entire fortress by himself. He would get to play hero, which would make himself look good. So when all of this is finally settled, Daemon would be able to look there and be like, hey guys, have you seen my war resume? It looks great. Just so we're clear, I did all the work for Team Black. It was me. I was the guy. I was the one doing everything. Just so we're all clear. When in fact, he literally was the one that got Rhaenyra the new nickname, Rhaenyra the Cruel. Yeah, it's not really a good look, man, when you're trying to rectify a situation by making your wife look like the evil person in the relationship. I'm just saying. You don't come out looking like the bigger man. You don't come out looking like the stronger man. You don't come out even looking like the moral man. You're just a dude who's not able to process your emotions correctly or accurately, and for a lack of better term, processed a little bit like a child. So him going to Harrenhal will probably be a ravishing success. Will this fix the weight of his sins, or will it undo the act that Blood and Cheese committed because of him? No, nothing's going to be able to undo this. He literally ended the life of a child because he wanted to further his own glory. That's dark, that's twisted, and that's just how the Game of Thrones has always been played. This throne is the biggest thing that no one should ever want in the history of life. You either sit on the throne so long you become mad, or so weak that you literally die, her father, or you end up dying along the way. No one who's played the Game of Thrones has won the game. It has just always been for naught. It has always been for moot. It has always been for their own death and for their own detriment. There has nothing that has panned out in the history of ever to get this hunk of junk. But at the same time, people want to say, hey, I'm king or I'm queen. And that's fine. Continue to play your Game of Thrones. It's entertaining for the masses. We love to watch it, albeit we don't like how everyone's playing right now. And that gets us to our next character for our Targaryen temper tantrum trifecta. Say that 5 times fast. Aegon the King. And I gotta say, on one hand, Tywin had a great run at it. His family just had no backbone or follow through. There was no support for that. Tywin is my favorite character from Game of Thrones. Once he left, there's a giant vacant place in my heart for it. Him and Tyrion were like the only two that I was constantly like, I'm rooting for them to succeed, even though Tywin was a tyrant and a horrible, putrid father. As you can see, I tend to root more for the villain types, Aaron. I don't know why. It's a personal flaw problem I got to work on. So, yeah, once he died, his house died unequivocally. No argument from me. There was no way that Jaime was going to carry anything on because he was stupid, and there's no way Tyrion was going to carry it on because he was too inept. It just was what it was. Cersei could have handled it, but it would have been the cruelest dictatorship Westeros had ever seen, and that's counting Aegon the Mad. But this Aegon was mad. And he was mad because he lost his firstborn, his heir, the only thing in this world he actually legitimately cared about, which shows how much humanity he has, because he was genuinely trying to help the people. He was someone who wanted to do right. He was someone who wanted to inspire hope and have them like him and be loved. And, there's a certain place for kings like that. Not Westeros, mind you, because they chew up and spit out nice kings like it's breakfast. We all remember what happened with Tommen. But at the same moment in time, being kind to the people that support you and pay your taxes so you can sit and have a lavish feast and a grand lifestyle is good. That is what you want. You want someone who can semi-sympathize with you. They don't have to understand because they've come from royalty their whole life, but they can at least sympathize with you and try and make the plight and make the gesture that they want to fix things. And now, because of the actions of Daemon, he will never come back to that same person again. He has become so dark and twisted in the grief for his child, which, hey, if you're a parent, you 100% get. You 100% understand where he's coming from. You ain't even mad at him. In fact, you're more or less supporting him for a little bit. You may be a little bit on Team Green now than you were on Team Black before. But hey, that is what it is. I'm not here to ask who's on whose side. just enjoy the dang war. It's going to be beautiful and gory. That's all I ask. But Aegon having to suffer through this moment in time, this lapse of judgment, has superseded him into upsetting a very well and established trope that Otto Hightower has been building his family up for decades. He sacrificed the virtue of his young daughter to his old man best friend King, who, let's face it, was not what anyone would consider the ideal physical specimen for what you would want your child to not only be with, but to consummate with regularly. So, Otto has sacrificed quite a bit in his plight for this. Otto is also doing this ultimately for the fact that he was doing all this because he was the younger brother of his family. His brother, the head of the Hightower house, is super, super powerful. And honestly, if Otto's plan had been followed through by anyone with half a brain, like you're saying right here with Tywin about Cersei, he literally could have had this plan pull through. Instead, he's left with a super, super inept family. He has Aegon, who is emotionally vulnerable, weak, and has never experienced his mother's love because she resents these children because of the acts that had to have happen in order for them just to have this situation go forth. Welcome in 343 Ralph. And then on top of that, now we have to see the fact that we had the only person that is emotionally sane from the side is Aemond, who will always choose violence in any and all situation first and foremost, having to talk about his feelings with a prostitute who's old enough to be his mother in a brothel so he can talk about his emotions because his mom is emotionally unavailable. And when his mom was emotionally unavailable for Aegon, because Aegon literally came into a room to cry and talk to her, she walks in, walks out. Then she goes to try and talk to her about her problems to Otto, who's like, I don't have time for this. I got to go deal with my brother. That is it's still it's 3 generations of heir from bad parenting. If Aegon had just been shown love, if Aemon had just been shown love, if Alicent had just been shown love, and if Otto had just been shown love, this would be a much simpler situation overall. Otto has been bullied by his family to be this evil mastermind, and he's played the part brilliantly. He raised a political child, not a daughter. She has played her part dutifully, but also no longer has love or anyone in her life that can show her any kind of love unless it's literally the guy who's into her feet and the guy who's supposed to be protecting her, but is spending more time under her than helping her. But that's another semantic that we'll have to get into at another moment in time. And then on top of everything, we just have her children who she just views as political pawns and basically telling all of them just to get over it and act the part, do the right thing, just be that individual to make everyone happy. And ultimately, at a certain moment in time, a little motherly love could have fixed a lot of these kids' problems. And with that, we bring in the man, the myth, the will of the dragons. How we doing?
Oh man, I don't know if anything can fix some problems, but yeah, I'm ready to. I'm sick of Cole and his nonsense. Yeah, a lot of love was given in the wrong way or the wrong directions because people trying to get selfish gain. It's just been a mess, and let's be honest, it doesn't get no better because we've already seen the future with Game of Thrones. So we don't do free live streaming options around here. I don't know where you can find one. I'm not looking for. I'm not interested in any of that. We pay for subscription. That's what we use. We don't condone any of that. So you'll have to go find whatever you need elsewhere. What's up, Ralph? What's going on?
Aaron was waiting for you to talk crap about Sir Christian Cole the minute I jumped on. He was absolutely ready for that and to have that discussion. So you guys are on the same exact wavelength.
Yeah.
Today.
Cole's crap. Look, HBO Max, which Max is where you can find this. Max is up. They've been on point with this show and everything. I mean, Game of Thrones was on point for like the first 6 seasons, or whatever case may be. So I'm hoping this doesn't take no crazy turns either that don't fit the narrative. But yeah, Cole is a piece of crap. I like the way that they're building him up. I can't wait to watch him fall. Like, please give that to me. I'm so sick of him.
I think he's going to continue to be a thorn in everyone's side far longer than anyone can imagine. But at the same time, I would hazard to guess that he will, through his own undoing or from the man with the metal foot, whose name every single week escapes me, works his way finally up. Is it Laris? I'm going to write that down. I think it's Laris. Laris finally works himself up to be the hand of the king, like he has been trying to do so for some time now, which, he even turned on his family because he was a member of the Strong family, and that was Rhaenyra's first lover, where she got her first couple kids out of. So it's like it's going to be a definite situation.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all know the Hand of the King has the same amount of lifespan that the King usually does. I think Tywin, again, is the only example of being able to go out and be a Hand of the King and surpass your king at several moments in time. Twin myself, oof.
I'm over him. Aaron, what's up, man? No, look, I'm over him. I'm over Cole. I'll tell you, he got to die. Being a twin yourself, yeah, that had to be rough. Like again, like you probably felt that more than anyone with just how that whole thing played out. So I can't imagine just having to do that. I mean, just even with my brother for no less so that, but twin, like y'all are piece of the pie. That's a whole different beast in itself.
Yeah, because you basically almost came out together, lived together, ate together, went to school together, went to classes together, and then they, joined the Kingsguard together. And then next thing you know, they're just like, I can't support this side and I can't support that side, all because Otto decided to scheme his way into such a terrible situation that it was a no-win moment for anybody or anything.
It's up early.
It's up early.
Yep, it's up right now.
Those sons of a gun. All right, everybody, you know the drill. We do not put anything on the channel. We do not support free links. Go ahead and get HBO Max, even if it's a free trial. Get on Max, paid streaming service. Enjoy that stuff. Pay for it. Have a good time. Episode 3 is up. We don't post anything on the screen because we don't own the rights, the permissions, or the authority to go ahead and post that up. So, chat. Episode 3 is up. I'm hitting play. It's showing my boy Amon. Well, not Amon, Damon.
All right. I'm sitting at 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. You let me know when you're there because I'm not worried about the recap because I rewatched it already. Good to go. So whenever y'all are good to go,
I will let you know. Did you skip the actual opening too again?
Yeah, I literally watched the show earlier today when we went on break from Demon Slayer. So I watched the whole episode again. So I just let it all play out. So I don't need it again. See you later.
See you back later, Ralph, for the circle round when we talk about this episode.
So yes. So let me know when you're ready. I'm good to go. I'm in yo.
It is up on Max, Aaron. We will wait for you if you are able to catch on up. It should be up. Just keep hitting that refresh button. You are really going to make me skip this, aren't you?
No. You can watch it if you want to. Again, you can watch it while you're waiting on Aaron to get to look. I'm
waiting for Aaron. He waited for me last week.
Yeah. So I really want to see what's going to happen with Cole now being the hand again. Of course, the Queen doesn't care. She's like, "Oh, my baby is promoted. I'm gonna support him," and they're back at doing what they normally do. So it's like no time missed for them. But Helena is the one that I'm really just trying to see how she deals with it because I think that she's gonna have mental issues going on, and that's what's gonna jack her up. So I think she's gonna end up doing something stupid or saying something stupid that freaking is either going to get somebody killed, freaking get herself killed, whatever. Like, it's going to be a problem. She's going to be wholly upset, and it's going to cause issues. Like, I wouldn't be thrilled. Like, she already knows about Cole and freaking, her mom. So is she going to say something about that to someone at some point in time? And is that going to get him messed up, or is that going to get the Queen messed up? The Dowager Queen, whatever, like
the daughter has clearly shown she does not care for the Game of Thrones, how it's played, or anything about it, or the politics intertwined with it. She's more concerned with just being a good mom and then being able to deal with the fact that she got stuck marrying her brother Aegon. It's like, for all intents and purposes, their relationship seems strained at best.
What is it? Yeah, something at best. I can't remember what it's called.
You had any luck, Aaron? Have you had any luck? I'm sure you're slamming that refresh button, hoping things pop up. It dropped early, which I think is impeccable, and I always appreciate it. the exact opposite of everything that happened with us pertaining to. All right, you got it. We are still both at the 4:45 mark, and we'll continue to wait. It looks like we're going to be opening with the one and only Daemon, who Rhaenyra has ultimately pissed off. And like I was saying in the early stream, I think he's going to do this in hopes of winning her back. But this is the epitome of I cheated on you, and now I need to buy you pretty jewelry and hope that will fix all my transgressions. Which, just so we're all clear, does not.
Nope.
Don't do it. Would not recommend for any number of reasons.
I just need to see something. We need to get some fighting, some dragons. I need to see a whole.
This whole episode is going to be espionage with a dragon. I'm calling that now from the early trailer that they showed last week. So let's see what I got here.
Better he made some lame moves. Yeah.
And Televids, welcome back. I'm 100% in agreement. Daemon has not been the Daemon of last season, but he's continued to be a bit of a problem for other people. So hopefully he can get his act together and get things right, because I know how the book goes, but this show has made some interesting changes. So we'll see how that ultimately pans out. All I know, we're getting closer and closer to that almost episode and a half long battle that House of the Dragons has promised us. So I, for one, am hyped for that. Very much so. So,
yeah,
Aaron, we are at the 4:45 mark, my friend.
We're starting it.
Oh. Let me know when you are starting it in there. C-Rod, go ahead and hit that refresh button. It should be up shortly, my friend.
Yeah.
It should be up on Max. I don't know why it's dropping early periodically for certain people. It might be a difference between a phone app and like a PlayStation app, like a computer app. I don't know how that stuff works.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at my phone and just trying to see if it's delayed. It's up on the computer.
Yeah, because on the computer I hit the refresh button one time.
It is not up on phones yet.
So go ahead, find your computers, find your PlayStations, however you watch this. Maybe TV. It just popped up.
It just popped up on phone.
All right, everybody, 4:45 mark. 4:45 mark.
Yeah.
Let me know when you guys are all there. Just type in chat. We're ready, because we skipped the recap in the opening, but we can rate for a couple members as we're hanging out here. Looks like it's going to be a smaller house tonight, but a more intimate one. Usual C-Rod and Televids and Aaron bringing in the chat per usual. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Hey, I love you. I love having conversations with you guys. Like it's so much fun, because especially when we're freaking shitting on Cole. I'm so sick of him.
You guys encourage Will to theory craft, which has started to bleed into other videos. So you guys have encouraged his bad
I'm going to do it.
Bring it down.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it every time.
Excuse me, pardon me.
I'm hovering over that play button. I'm ready.
And Televids is also watching the recap, so we're getting everybody synced up. 4 minutes 45 seconds is where we're at, and then we'll be going off on our quest for all things dragon. And we're still working on finding a timer that works for the thing. We just haven't found one that works in the app that looks nice and up to our standards, unfortunately. A lot of them look pretty shabby. So it's something we're working on behind the scenes. We'll let you guys know how that plays out. Just at this moment in time, nothing too sexy to put up. Just, stare at the beautiful golden dragon in the top right corner.
When is the Rings of Power supposed to drop? When is that?
That drops in late August as an early present for me. I think it drops the same time that Dragon Con. I'm not mistaken.
I'll miss the opening of that, because I'll most likely be at Dragon Con. So
it might be a little bit better for me, because then I don't have to, try and tell you how awesome the Lord of the Rings is, you nincompoop.
I just like the fantasy fighting and stuff.
There's going to be a 2-episode long battle in Rings of Power, so I think you're in for it. So
we're supposed to get an episode long battle here, and a 2-episode long battle in Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Okay. So
good in fantasy battles.
So we scrapping. Okay, I got it. We scrapping. That's what I'm excited to see.
And Lord of the Rings has 2 of the best fantasy battles in 2 of their last 3 films. Just so we're perfect.
I wouldn't know.
You should know. I've tried telling you, guys. We need to convince Will that once we hit a certain subscriber mark, we do an extended thing going on. We are streaming the episode. It's always off screen. We don't have legal rights, permissions, or authorities to post it inside this box here. Watch along on your devices. We're hopping to the 4:45 minute mark, and then we hit and play once in Televids and C-Rod's caught up, because I believe Aaron is ready. And yep, C Rod, you're absolutely right. It is illegal. We do not do that. It's not how we play here at Geek Variants.
Now,
Follow the rules.
If HBO Max was listening, they would love to give us permission. We sure would appreciate it. Surely would. So that is something that I am working on to the best of my ability. Again, it just requires me contacting all types of people and figure it out.
We have no idea how Discord works at this time, so it's
I
nothing
have set up a Discord so that I'm still getting the parameters of Discord worked out. I have some good people who know how to work Discord better than I do are working with it for me. I do not have any tips on how to watch for free. That is not something we condone here at all. So we're gonna just kind of stay away from that altogether. All right, we don't do that. We only take care of our paid subscriptions, HBO Maxes, who we're going through, and I think Amazon is also doing it in conjunction with HBO Max. So those are your two options. Sign up for a free trial if you don't have it. They should be able to give you the episode. So let's go. We are starting now.
Yep. Okay. Now, 4:45. Let's go, everybody. I thought my episode was paused, but I was like, oh, it's just a slow wheel. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, not now. Know, right? It crashes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
This is Harrenhal. I'm assuming this will be Harrenhal.
Uh-oh. Well, we about to fight reds versus yellows. We already got to fight. I'm with it.
This is like a whole bunch of dudes fighting after our night at the bar. Let's get it going on. There we go. Ooh.
Babe killer?
That's Mac. Yep. This is just everybody fighting over one family's problems. Someone's going to get shanked here. You guys are a little too close for this.
Mm-hmm. I say, all you brought was a dagger?
Like, I got a long sword. Oh, it looks like he dared.
Or is that very much so?
Just a little bit. Took him clean out. Team Black's outfit does look better. I am 100% with that, Antonio. They just have better color coordination.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been partial to like when you can create like teams in sports, having that nice splash of black with any color really makes it pop.
Yo,
that's a lot of people.
They started that fight and it went wild.
What is it? The opening of Witcher 3? My goodness.
How many is that?
Too many. Eat dirt. I still don't know which one's Eric with an A and which one's Eric with an E.
The Eric with an A, I believe, was the one on.
Is he on the left or the right?
Because it was Eric and Eric. I'm pretty sure I heard Eric. That's what that. As far as which one's in the thing, I don't know, but.
She figured it out so quickly. Watch it on Max or Amazon Prime. Lafferty, watch it on Max or Prime. Those are your two options.
Yes, if it's available on Prime, they had a conjunction agreements in the beginning of the first season.
She's dropping some wisdom right now. Can you imagine though? Like you're the dude who has to just you're only hired to dig a hole, and that's your extra part.
Hey man, if that's his job, that's his job. Oh, you just need to use the dragons. That's what you see. The will of the dragons. I'm like, what do the dragons want to get into? Like, I've been waiting on dragons to like really do some work.
I think they're saving them for later on when the
I,
hype is
I know,
finally moved up and the tension has boiled over because we're getting
but,
there. She permitted it. She had no idea this was happening. She was too busy taking Sir Kristen's coal, if you know what I'm saying. Kristen Cole was up in her hole. It's the worst job in the world. First day job panic. How do I do this again?
Does he still remain freaking the one in charge?
At the Kingsguard, yeah. He's got like 2 jobs now. He's super busy.
Oh, so he doesn't have the bro. He has that wasn't there before, the little hand necklace thing.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little bit of a touch up there. Nice eye. I just caught that too. If I was looking at him, be like, "Really? You're the one they left in charge? Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Split mounts for security, sitting down on the job. Oh yeah, foot guy should become hand. I am 100% with team foot guy, which is a terrible thing to say out loud. Ignore that. That could be clipped terribly.
Yeah, he seems far more capable.
Far more astute.
What was his name? Laris Strong.
Yeah. Well, Amon was there before he was. That's wild. Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Very heavy.
Mm. Very well.
There you go. We're getting some actual action. Oh, okay.
Mm.
No one's acting now. Yeah, we did notice, Aaron. We did notice. I'm not against it, though. I'm not against it. It wasn't a prominent enough role that where you'd be like, okay, this is really going to change things. It's not like they just brought Tywin back for multiple roles and be like, bro. That you?
Mm.
Team Green is a mess. To war then, from the comfort of our home.
Mm.
I mean, dude's spitting. He still shouldn't lead from the front as a king of his lack of province. Because if he ran into Daemon, that would be that'd be quick.
Very much so.
He's taking Otto's advice. Yes, he is. Just not directly from Otto. Oh, she did. She did spill the warning. Of course. That's a high ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did the Hightowers do to you? That was all Damon's fault.
Controlling their brother's impulses. Yeah, for sure. He's got to because he's freaking loose.
I mean, if Aemon was smart, he would have let his brother go die, and then he claims the throne. Because he would have been a far better ruler than his brother.
He doesn't seem like the type that he wants it. Yeah, Laris burnt down, like had her stuff burnt down.
Then I sit corrected. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that. So she's just suffering from both parties. She just chose the better of two evils.
Mm.
Approach real up.
Okay. But Raina doesn't have a dragon, does she?
I can't remember.
And Taraxis is but a hatchling. Who does Taraxis end up with? Sweet.
Everything is so convoluted for women in Game of Thrones. Like 90% of the time, they're either propped up to just be married off to somebody, or oh, there's Daemon. That's a fortress. Oh boy. No. I believe in televids that her dragon was stolen by One Eye because she was gonna go claim that dragon, and then he thought better of it.
Like that was like her mother's dragon or something, right? Or it was somebody's dragon before that I think died, and he went and claimed it before she could.
Man, Daemon's dragon is very pretty. Now Daemon is going to do the worst stealth mission ever. Like when you start the mission with a bazooka, and they're like, "Cool, time for stealth."
All right, who's there is the question. Where is he exactly?
I believe Harrenhal. I was incorrect on their first location. That was the Riverlands.
Maybe his dragon can't fit. I don't know.
Probably not.
What nefarious crimes would they be justifying?
Why are we coming after my boy like this? Like, we better see that dragon because that dragon is huge in the books, Antonio. Huge. Very important moving forward. Especially if you read the books, you know exactly how important that dragon is. Daemon's gonna be like, I got the castle for you. I think you just wanted to take everybody out and work through some of your problems. A bit of a hole in your roof. You want to get that fixed? Nobody? Yeah, looks like somebody beat you to it.
Hmm.
It's like, where is everybody? You have knocked, and no one seems to be home. Yeah, I'm talking through the suspense, C-Rod, so I'll probably silence myself now just so we can let that moment play up. Because he's going to get jump scared, and I will jump out of my chair.
Yep.
Back. Oh, not jump scare. All he said was halt, and so you punched him in the face?
Oh, yeah. Oh, y'all just in here having dinner. What's up?
Like, what's good? What are we having? Well played. Well played. Doesn't look like much.
Yeah, y'all better get down too.
This isn't how he wanted it, though, so that's a problem.
Yeah. And what was that guy's name? Simon? Simon
Strong.
Strong?
Damon's still mad, though, because he's like, I didn't get to kill a single person, and I just punched your guard up front.
So wait, so who is he to Larry? I mean, they're related, obviously, but
yeah, Laris is probably his older brother.
Oh, his nephew.
Yeah. Valerian the Dread, the biggest dragon Westeros has ever seen.
This is great, Uncle. You're great. I know, right?
He's like, I could get fucking used to that. I'm in. Pardon my language. This show just brings it out in people. Apologize.
Don't piss him off.
King in the castle. King in the castle. It's a Borat reference. Oh, okay. We have no links to drop. We do not support free videos. Go ahead and go to Max or Prime Video.
Oh,
Damon,
but
that's
I
so
want the big
unwise.
chair made of swords.
It's ultimately foolish to be doing what everyone's doing right now. Just keep hitting that refresh button, it'll be up. No links. No links. We do not support free streaming services. Prime and Max. That's it. He's not a particular fan of this new thing. He doesn't like being babysat. Just say you guys love each other already. Like this. Get it over with already. The relationship is complicated.
Very.
But he knows. He's never seen his sister act like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's like, well, now I know why I'm here. Oh yeah, Primal Wolf. The old
Yep, he gonna
Freudians.
find out real quick.
Oh, Aaron. I mean, you're right though. You're right though. You hope he gets Ramsey treatment. A pack of dogs would be fitting. Just saying. He's been acting like, oh, okay, that was unnecessary. He's been acting like a dog. The battle is slowly getting set on the field. The cheese became Swiss.
Man, he out there playing Elden Ring. I'm gonna tell you, he ready.
It's like, anyone heard of Damon? The women are like, oh, not this crap again.
What you laughing at, homie?
You just laugh at the queen. That's dangerous. Mm-hmm.
I know, right? He about to get tossed.
These men think she's foolish without Damon there for counsel, so they all want to cozy on up to that spot. Reminding everybody, hey, I have a dragon. You don't. Shut it.
Hmm.
She's like, just so we're clear, she a bad lady. Don't test her. We know where we came from. We know our family tree.
I love her. Don't mess with Rhaenys.
She is just verbally giving everybody a good old backhand treatment. Everyone's counsel seems to suck right now. I already made the note. Team Green is a mess. Team Black is not much better. Mm. These two are like couple goals. Lady of the Tides, you are correct. We're gonna lose Corliss in like the most dramatic fashion, and I am not ready for it.
Yep.
They're like the one relationship that actually worked out in the show. Everything else has not worked. The queen who never was, the queen of the sass. I can't believe we're sending off dragons as gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened to like a fruit basket or a wine basket or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Bayla has Moon Dancer.
And then unfortunately, she lost her husband before everything else happened. Friendly reminder of like how strong. Yeah, Aaron, I think you recognize those eggs. I think you do.
Yeah, eggs.
Something about the ones that got sent off and ended up becoming Daenerys's eggs. Drogon's just chilling in there waiting for the day.
There was four though. Yeah, which means one may go missing. So I'm trying to remember freaking the color of the eggs.
She had 3 eggs. 3 of the eggs are exactly the correct ones. The 4th one isn't. But at the same
it's
time,
the blue one. The blue one, right?
Yeah, the blue one's not any of the other ones.
Yeah,
because I bought the Missus an egg set.
There's red, green, and like yellow or something like that.
Yeah, red, green, and gold.
Yeah. So what happens to that blue egg is the question.
Yeah, because this would explain why they didn't think the eggs worked, because they had them from this moment in time all the way for scrambled egg.
I mean, that'd be a heck of a scrambled egg. I mean, that's all types of protein.
And then when the other ones hatch, you're going to become a scrambled egg.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much fireproof. You can't boil them. You boil them, it's gonna
Fire
hatch
cannot
in
kill
your
a
face.
dragon.
You got to crack that thing open while it's soupy and scramble them things. Over easy or poach it, whatever. Whatever floats your
I love
boat.
how you guys are now debating the semantics of breakfast.
I enjoy good breakfast. What can I say?
Breakfast for dinner slaps. Breakfast for breakfast sucks.
Hey, Waffle House is always open.
I ain't going to Waffle House. I'm not one of the best fighters in the universe.
Hey, man. I'll be at Waffle House all day. Conditional motherhood.
Look at her trying to mom. Like,
she ain't good at it.
She just sees it as a job as opposed to something she willingly got to do and choose to do.
I wait for her to say something stupid.
You think she would have tried making this conversation happen a little bit earlier, though, considering it's her fault that the security was not on patrol.
Mm-hmm. Say it.
Yeah, no. Only concern for me because I know your secret. Oh, Helena, don't do that. Don't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's too good for these people. Just join Team Yellow and go hang out somewhere without everybody. He's like, you dummy. Lucky it fits.
Hmm.
Yo, A1, you're speaking facts right there. Guard
Mhm.
the old queen, not the actual queen. Because security sucks in this day and age. It's not like Game of Thrones where all of a sudden you couldn't get past anybody for any number of reasons. Even Littlefinger couldn't get past people. But this day and age, just go on your way. I don't have time for this. A1 comment. Sorry about the pun. I'm sure you get it all the time.
Whatever. He out there trying to create more queens, right?
Laris is stirring this pot all the way.
Hmm.
Yeah, pull up these weeds.
And make sure I shout out A1 when we do our review video. Like that's it right there. I'm gonna quote that word for word. I'm sorry. Look, what is you doing? What is you doing?
Oh, Laris getting promoted. Laris gets his promotion. There it is. Finally. Him playing against Varys would have been interesting to see, but I still take Varys in a landslide. Oh, he thought better of it. He's Aegon is like the frat bro that is accidentally in charge of the group and gets brought into this situation. Like, am I the only one that sees Aegon as a frat bro with
these
guys, usual
guys.
college groupie guys?
Now here's my question.
Don't actually like you.
I don't know. I got to go back and look. Were these the same guys that were sitting around the chair?
Yeah,
right.
Those are his homeboys. That's why they got promoted, not because of talents or anything like that.
Sworn to chastity. No. Wait till you find out about Cole.
King's Landing is just wild. That one guy at the local bar that knows everybody's had a beer with everyone most likely knew about blood and cheese and let it happen to create chaos so he can claim up. Oh,
yes.
A1 is just hitting us with all these facts.
You are the master of whispers. You think he didn't know what was going on? Like, he definitely knew what was going on.
He knew what was up. He probably encouraged what was up. And he's just like, oh no, I accidentally caught him. We were hanging out at the pub, but that's not important.
This guy, what?
She's like 13. Why are we doing this? Sir, act right.
You know, these people don't act right in this day and age. You see how chaotic this place is?
It doesn't excuse terrible behavior.
Doesn't
Treat a lady
excuse
like
it,
a
but
lady.
it's their normal.
Don't just be backhanded random people. Those ain't your cheeks to be clapping. The conciliator. Ooh.
Mm. Mm.
Are you though?
Man.
Mm. I don't believe a word coming out of your mouth right now. Like you just look like a fool to me, my friend.
Why is he openly saying this? Yeah, it feels off.
Oop. Oh boy. Oh no, you didn't. Came out for a right drink and now you're making a fool of yourself. Yeah, the king's one of us. He bought us a drink. He's like, I just nearly shat myself. Oh
Man.
no.
Boy, that was close, man. You why are you saying all this stuff out in public? I don't know. But
The debauchery has begun.
oh, he's gonna find his brother in there, ain't he?
Probably. The guy in the back has probably never seen a pair of boobs before in his life because he's out here. Like, why? Oh, okay. Wrong room. Interesting room. And he's just like, I'm kind of hammered. Oh, that's his brother. Oh no. Mm.
Uh
The brotherly ribbing has gone too far. And you can tell they're uncomfortable.
why would you, I would not still be there?
Because he's working through his mommy issues as you're working through yours. One's just a little bit more on the nose. He is livid, but he is playing that mask so
Oh
well.
boy. Oh, that's going to be a problem later.
It's like,
Yeah. Well,
she had,
like, yeah, there's a lot going on.
but also, I don't think he's been skipping a workout for a couple months. That was wild. Yeah.
Hey
Oh,
man, do what
if you've been in
he
the military, you've seen this stuff before. Ain't nothing you're proud of, just happens. Or a sports team. You tend to see things you ain't supposed to. You just kind of be like, oh, whatever.
doesn't he mad, so
Pretty soon
zero
walk around
F's
mind your
given.
business.
Zero F's given. Like he is just like, yo, I'm pissed.
It's like, hey, everyone wants to look, whatever. That's on them. I'm just gonna bear all. Are you gonna open up your old friend's seal? Oh, she did. And she was probably suing for peace because the women seem to be the only level-headed characters in the show. My nephew. He's like, what is that shadow? Oh. Yeah, get out of there now. Your boy Cole doesn't really want to die.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dragon. Yeah, you see that shiny armor from like a mile away with reflection.
Here we go.
Will Cole make it? Or is he going to trip up this guy as a sacrifice?
Cole's going to make it because he sucks. That's why. That's what I want. Dragon, baby.
Look at all these mistakes everybody making. That thing is coming in hot. Got your butts. Whoop. You lucked out. Y'all got lucky. I would get out of there if I was her. We don't know kind of technology they have that could take out your dragon.
I mean, I would have launched freaking a fireball straight as I'm right before I pull up. Just
Yeah, because now everyone's like, huh, we should have taken security a little bit more seriously. Because at any time she could end everybody unless someone else shows up to attack her.
Oh, you scared? You about to piss yourself, ain't you?
I mean, reasonably, any sane person would.
Go on, one little sparkle, one little glimmer.
Yeah, I would take off at this moment in time. They're close enough to King's Landing. She should be worried. But also, we don't know how much time they've traveled, so that's the main thing. Ooh, he got to play the boss. I'm sorry, he's so happy with himself.
I feel like my robe will get caught on fire leaning in to move stuff.
Right? Aaron, are you on Kristen's side now? What are you doing over there? Watching you. Are you still trying to pretend you're going to tell her what to do?
Yeah, they keep pressuring her. They do. They are not stopping with that.
It's like, I would just be like, look, she is the hand of the queen. Let her make some choices here.
Thank you.
She's a very, very wise ruler. The inevitable will come down eventually, but she's trying to postpone this as long as she can at this time. Yeah, but you gotta wait for hope at this point, I guess. I'm sure Damon's made himself quite comfortable.
I'm just waiting for hope, news from certain places. Yeah.
He's like, huh, my bed. Did I expect a slight drip? That's why she has the most experienced advisor, A1. The queen who never was, goddess of the sass, and probably the only super intelligent being that we have here.
You heard him pull that sword out. You stop us at the door.
People are coming for him. Man, he's got some cojones on him. I would have stayed behind that sword for a good long while there.
I'm sleeping in my armor.
Yeah, that's more of the semantics of things. But you ain't wrong. Like if you look at all Targaryens, that's basically the fine line of where we're at with things. Oh boy. Is he gonna end up sleeping with this lady again? Like Damon? No. It's nice they brought her back for this, but like, this is dark. He's having a nightmare. This is not a dream.
Yeah.
It's like those kids' eyes are gonna open here shortly, and he's gonna be like, there he is. He's back. Is that a werewood tree he's standing by? It looks like it.
Shit, you're gonna die in this place.
Everyone who's read the books is just like, oh, so they're expediting things a little bit.
I'm assuming death is looming now.
I mean, everyone's at war. It's just a matter of when for everyone. Because the werewood trees have magical powers.
Okay.
So I'm sure that was what helped induce part of his nightmare. Yeah. Making it seem harder than what it really is.
I don't know. She goes plenty of places without eyes watching her, so she can do her thing.
I mean, there's still a pair of eyes between her thighs, but I mean,
Yeah.
they are watching. But now he's out on a quest. Laris is still around, but I don't know what that will amount to. Find her at the old outhouse. Be like, what?
You know?
Security sucks. I'm just
Very much
throwing that
so.
out there. If you can literally just take a boat, show up, and just hang out like nothing happened. The real villains of this show, security. Sent one guy with her.
Mm-hmm. The less you take with you, the easier it's gonna be. It's too risky. It's extremely risky. I don't know what made her think this is a good idea.
Because she's trying to sue for peace. her losing her life would just only put Daemon in charge, though, which would be a gargantuan problem. But that's for another thing going on here. She does look a lot like the women who's like shame, shame,
shame. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How she's dressed.
Brought back a classic look for all of us Game of Thrones fans. Feeling a lot of homages going on there. Oh yeah, she always goes to the scepter, Balaam, to go pay her respects. That's how she deals with
look,
Marguerite.
She's got 2 guards with her. Amazing.
You'll be able to get by.
Where's Helena? Does she have 2 guards with her?
You'll be able to make it work. I still would love to see a faceless man appear at some point here. Oh.
You got that dagger ready.
That was fantastic. Be quick. Did an Assassin's Creed some people. Wow.
Oh yeah.
This is a high stakes cloak and dagger game we're playing right now.
Literally cloak and dagger ready to go.
That was an accidental pun. That's the only reason that was funny. If I tried to make a pun, it's bad. I don't think about it. It happens. Like, hey, what's up, bestie? I know you slept with my dad and all, but can we be friends now? Can I help you? It's like, right now, right now. There's no point in suing for peace. Aegon's too far gone because of Daemon. And this is like literally just plopping your biggest piece on the table and saying, please don't hurt me.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of the men's fault right now entirely. I would not even. That's not even lying. All the men caused all the problems. Otto was scheming, Daemon was killing, and her dad was inept. Now we're being petty. But again, in this situation, I don't fault either party. Staring at the one other random lady, like, please leave. It's more plot than anything, Destin. More plot than anything. I enjoyed last week. I'm sorry to say, Destin, I enjoyed last week. Sorry you feel that way.
What, snooze fest? Yeah, I don't think it's like, again, it's building. It's building very well. It's setting up with the suspense and stuff. You talk about a snooze fest. I'm talking about the Acolyte.
They can be this slow when the payoff is big. Personal opinion. Not unlike The Acolyte, which is a actual snore fest through 4 episodes. And episode 5 showed up and was like, hey, completely different pacing. But that's another show for another day. Yes, I read the book. Will's going in blind.
Yeah, I'm the one who didn't do nothing.
I don't even know if he finished Game of Thrones. I don't think so.
This is going to be a wretched storm when it.
Yeah, it's like I was gonna say, like, if this is considered a calm and we've taken out 2 children, war is going to be very, very
He's
slow.
making her think now. Did he ever speak my name and say no? Did he ever like?
We'll get our dragon on dragon violence here shortly.
Destin, I'm hoping. Like
And
I am
once
hoping.
the door open, they never close until people's eyes do. Mm. And then she's like, oh. Yeah, it's kind of important. Because now she's going to start questioning herself. She's like, I don't know what any of this is. So she's like, that's not what he meant then. It's not about your Aegon, Dinkleberry. None that I'm aware of, Brian. Go ahead and check out Max or Amazon Prime Video to find your.
Yo, that's deep. Like she was. It's the. This renews. Like Rhaenyra was breaking for a second. She wasn't sure, but this just renews her.
All the invigoration she needed.
Yeah, there's been a mistake on your part, Allison.
Allison making a mistake? No, she would ever.
Oh, what?
It's too late to undo what's happened. C-Rod coming with all of the sads. Get it through your head. It's like the whole Omni-Man over Invincible thing. Think. Allison even being shown the error of her ways. Too blockheaded to really get things together. They could have at least saved a couple lives here. But pride, the undoer of us all.
Oh, she is finna go in. Look at her. Oh, she's finna go in.
And that's the episode, baby.
She's way too soft, and I wouldn't know about her being soft or not. So at that,
they portrayed everybody far softer in the show than the book, though.
I do
go out and say that.
I do
it
think
has to be for television.
Yeah,
that's why we're softening.
Yeah, I think it has to be more about the relationship and your investment into the characters. Again, it's not going to be as bloody. It's still going to be bloody, but not going to be as bloody, or they can't show just everything. Because honestly, I think Game of Thrones would just be a bunch of people walking around naked, killing a bunch of people like over and over again.
Next week's episode is the battle. Just so everyone's clear on the trailer. And that's Vhagar. Yeah, things are serious.
Yeah, I'm watching the yeah.
Yeah, so that's wild. We are going to be the internet will probably self-implode next week, just so we're all perfectly aware, and the servers could potentially crash.
Oh, they're taking off people's heads? Okay.
We're going to be doing a little bit more than that. So at this time,
Dragons,
what we're going to do is start moving toward our recap. That being said, I will be right back, folks. I'm just going to take care of something real quick. I'll be right on back within the next 2 minutes. You probably got Will in the meantime.
Oh, yeah, I'm Dragon's going to war. All right, is it? See, I can take it with that build up that makes me feel better about what's going on. We're getting the dragons. I want the dragons. I need the dragons. For a fact, they're coming. All right, so let my brain run a little bit here with that. So as far as next episode, so we got Rhaenyra, who has confirmed in her mind that he was telling the story because of the promised prince, whatever we're speaking about Aegon. We know Aegon is Aegon II. So speaking about, I guess, Aegon I, who was the promised prince, who was a story, a lore, whatever that her father used to tell. So he was recounting the Song of Ice and Fire. And in recounting that, Alicent took it as Aegon, her son, was the one meant to be king, which was not the case. And Rhaenyra now knows better. It's like, no. So now, yeah, Alicent is all in. It's about to be a scrap. Like, these two is finna really go at it. She's confirming the plans for war, for battle. She's gonna go back to everybody like, I took it under advisement. I got the information I needed. Yo, we going to scrap right now. We about to get it in. So that's gonna be freaking on itself on a whole nother level as far as how those battles and stuff play out. Again, I don't know how the battles play out, but we also know that Aemon is having to deal with his brother outing him. Don't know how exactly that's going to go, but he's annoyed by it. He's pissed off by it, and I think there's going to be some type of retribution. He's going to snap on his brother or something at some point. It usually happens when his brother has had too much alcohol. So when Aegon has had too much alcohol, he tends to get really stupid, and he's going to end up like, I wouldn't be surprised he ends up, jacked up, or he ends up dying some stupid way, not even in battle. Like, he's going to die like somewhere not in battle. You think the ending will be the same as the book or different? Here's the thing. I didn't read the book, so Brent will be able to question that. As far as my endings like that, I'm going House Black over House Green right now. That's the way I'm kind of feeling it. But there are going to be
there's no real winner.
There's going to be heavy casualties between both, but I feel like it may not be Rhaenyra. I feel like it'll be just that side who wins. But again, I don't know if she'll actually be able to sit on the throne. I kind of feel like she's gonna be stabbed and finally sit on the throne and die or something. I don't know, but I don't think she's.
I think they're gonna copy and paste the ending for everything. I'm not gonna put any spoilers out there or anything else pertaining to that for anyone who's just watching the show, because going into a show blind is amazing, and I don't want to take that away from anybody. But I think they're going to copy and paste pretty much the ending and how things are going to play out. I think there will be minor differences, like how Rhaenyra is significantly softer in the show than versus in the books. But at the same time, if we had everything as the books were, we know that Rhaenyra's relationship with Daemon would be significantly darker than what it already is. If they do change the ending, they'll have to do so in a way that makes sense. George is 100% on with this show, the author. So I don't know if he's going to sign off on his baby being done ending poorly back to back after the way Game of Thrones ended, which House of the Dragons has since rectified fans' beliefs in his properties and his IP. I think he's going to fully fix things.
I honestly, this is just speaking from having certain things play out in certain ways. Even though I don't know the ending to the books and stuff, as far as right now, I know the ending that I roughly want, which is just Blacks to win. Don't know what is going to happen with any of that, but I do like it when creators do so. Let's take Infinity War. Let's say the entire Infinity War arc, so that they changed up some things in the story to make it end differently. I don't mind the retelling of the story in a different way, because you've already told it one way in one form of media. So if you're taking it to another form of media and you want to tell the story differently, I'm with that. What else would you have changed? Because you got to remember with these writers and stuff, like they've probably written a bunch of different endings to their stories.
I mean, George needs to finish the actual books because technically, A Game of Thrones is not finished. A Song of Ice and Fire needs to be completed. The show had its ending, sure, and a lot of people are saying that was George's thoughts and his will, but based upon the vehement, just absolutely hatred for what was put forward on screen by the writers of that show, I would hazard to guess that A Song of Ice and Fire is going to be pushed back as long as possible so George can get things right because there's a lot going on there. And then to answer your question, Antonio, Daemon is finally having self-reflection, but it's far too little, far too late. He is finally coming to grips because Rhaenyra let him know in no uncertain terms, you ended a child's life. And I don't care who you are as an individual, ending the life of a child should mess with you a little bit psychologically, and you should lose a lot of sleep over it. You shouldn't just be like, you know what? Another day on the job. It was a tough one. I'll get back at it tomorrow. And I think albeit Daemon, being as heartless as he is, should kind of realize that for a matter of perspective, that was his nephew. So, you know,
Yeah,
family taking out family shouldn't be easy on you.
oh, that absolutely shouldn't be easy. So, and that again, that's going to mess with him so much. So it's like, how is he going to recover? Is he going to recover? Like,
He probably will recover for his moments because there are moments where Daemon does shine as an individual. Right now, the Stepstone seems to be the only time we have seen Daemon shine, and still, it was him acting out of his own self-interest. And yeah, Song of Ice and Fire is an incredible, its lore, its backstory, all that good stuff. There's tons of great content creators who devoted like their entire channel just to breaking down and studying the lore that in which he built. So that's how you know you've got something really impressive on your hands. So that's something definitely worth taking a look at as far as what he's built. He just, I wish, would pick up the pace in his writing, but at the same time, if the story's told correctly and well to the point the fans like it, it's always worth the wait. We're in such a feed me now mentality as a society where we just literally finished Demon Slayer just this morning. I already want the movies. That's unreasonable. That's not how things need to be done. So if an author or a creator decides to take their time and get things right, more power to you. I'm the last person you should listen to. I'm part of the Feed Me Now Society age range, which doesn't think will work out. Yeah, probably longer than 3 years, because he said it would have been done in 2022, and then he was like, "I'm not even halfway done. It's 2024." So we'll be waiting a while.
he's not
But
even
yeah,
halfway done, so yeah, 3 to 4 years maybe. I mean, it gives me time to catch up and read the books if I want to, you know.
all the books are up there, and they're thick. They're thick boys. And it's not necessarily written in the easiest style to comprehend and understand, but you're definitely up to the task of it. He
Oh,
writes
okay.
in a very, very explicit way with a lot of ongoing thoughts. Like sometimes people's thought bubbles are just giant diatribes for pages and pages and pages. Like J.R.R. Tolkien would describe a leaf to the utmost degree. George R.R. Martin did the same thing with people's inner monologue. Sometimes you lose track of who's monologuing because certain monologues will supersede other monologues, and then it's just a run-on of thoughts. But yeah, like Antonio said, that eggs from Daenerys, a mighty, mighty gift. If I had just one wish, I just wanted George is finally doing with all of his stories. Yeah, you and so many other people want to see what his ultimate culmination was so we can figure out whether or not the last season of Game of Thrones is canon or that's just something we'll have to live as a mistake. Because just for reference, Will, a certain character is off and then comes back to life. That's basically where the books have ended. They haven't necessarily had anything past that. So I think you just need to watch like the first 4, maybe 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, and you'll know exactly where the books are. albeit they did make some creative liberties and some creative changes that some fans are not happy about. They didn't focus on a couple side characters I thought they should have. But that's a whole nother argument for another time because we're on House of the freaking Dragons. And I gotta say, this was more plot based in this episode than I thought, but based upon the trailer for next week, I think they're gonna pick up the pace just a little bit. I think you're gonna be eating good, fans who are here for the dragon on dragon violence. Because look, let's even the book fans can attest. Dragon on dragon violence is something that we've definitely all been pining for ever since we were introduced to dragons in a Game of Thrones through Daenerys. Am I right? Like, dragon on dragon violence just sounds exciting, especially when you're not the one who has to actually physically go through it. You can just watch other people go through it. It's like, yep, I'll just live altruistically through you guys. I'm not going to be involved in that necessary mess and bloodshed and gore and all that other non-happy stuff that war really is. If we ever see Balerion the Dread, I would be absolutely shook. To get Balerion in full screen would be basically as impressive as seeing the dragon from Lord of the Rings that was larger than a mountain. And that, to me, is just insane in of itself to think about the size of what was going on. Because, like, if you watched The Hobbit, you saw Smaug, who could easily fit under a mountain. And then you have a dragon who was the literal size of a mountain. So Balerion being as big of a boy as he is, and as powerful as he is, yeah, that would be a sight to see, though, if they do it correctly. And, like, I have no reason for them to believe that they wouldn't be able to do it. The internet would just literally implode at this moment in time, because we saw Vhagar and we all were almost like, oh my gosh. And it's like, Vhagar is very petite compared to Balerion. There's a reason Aegon the Conqueror came in with Balerion the Dread. You don't get a nickname like the Dread if you are cute and cuddly and fuzzy and small. The Dread is usually associated for those who are very large, very imposing, and can force their will upon many at the slightest or smallest of inconveniences. If they did Aegon the Conqueror, they need to do it correctly, and they need to tell the main stories of what needs to be done, but I don't think it needs to be told in more than one season. I think it needs to be short, sweet, and to the point. I understand spin-offs are kind of like the new flavor of things. We'll just like make a main IP and then start doing subsects of that as we kind of test the waters on fans' engagement. But everything needs to be done right if you're going to go about what's going on here. Yeah, and according to the books, Valerion's small and old Valyria. Old Valyria was a wild time to be alive, to be kicking, to be doing much of anything. So I couldn't fathom the size and scope in which Valyria was able to wield their might and prowess in front of everybody. And Will's over here like, what in the world are you talking about?
I'm just listening to Dragons. I was like, I know you say y'all talking about Aegon the Conqueror, so the first Aegon. Y'all want a pre? How far is that ahead of this that we're watching now? Because that's another prequel series, right? That would be.
That's another prequel series. It would be ahead of this one because they're all descendants of Aegon the Conqueror. You remember King Jaehaerys, the one who was basically crippled last season and then died, and it was this whole succession that everyone's fighting over. He was the last person to ride Balerion the Dread, and he only did it one time because it took so much out of him. And Balerion was nearing the end of his life because Balerion lived past.
Well, that's the skull in the first episode.
Yes, that's Balerion. Right. Just for a good size reference. Yeah. I mean, if they just made it animated, yeah, it would probably work. There's a lot of records that could be broken with the show, and I'm just wondering the budget that would necessarily have to go into it. But if they cast the wrong Aegon, things could be tragic. A lot of people have fan-shipped Henry Cavill to fit the Aegon the Conqueror role. I'm not against it, but I'm not necessarily for it. He can pull off the white long hair because of Geralt. We've seen it happen, and he has the physical size to be an imposing figure like Aegon was. Because Aegon is nothing like these kings that you see currently in either Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. he was a true warrior king, and he was an intelligent leader.
I say most of them are freaking either getting
Fat
sick,
or inept.
freaking frail, weak, freaking can't do it. Like I want a king. Like that's what I say. Looking at Damon, and granted, Damon's not the smartest freaking right now, so like that. But if you were to put him as king, I could see him as a king as far as the warrior side of it. Like he fits the mold. But you put Aegon the second, I look at him like you're like really, you don't look like you're gonna do nothing. Like get away from me, like go away. So yeah, I want a king that fits the mold. Like I'm ready to go to war, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to do whatever is necessary to protect my people. Give me a king that looks that way, that looks imposing. Because if I'd have seen, what's his name, the last, Aegon's father, if I'd have seen him walking around and you falling apart, like you got pieces falling off, I'm not scared of this at all. Like
Yeah, because Aemond and Daemon are the only two that you would look at and be like, yeah, these are warrior kings. But at the same time, they were never actually kings.
yeah,
They always had the frailer person run the show, and then they would just go out to battle and settle everyone else's issues, so to speak. And they have a bit of a touch of destiny from the same cloth, so to speak. So we'll see ultimately how that transpires in this series. But Daemon's finally having nightmares. He's finally dealing with his sins, so to speak.
I don't think
But
he's
it's
gonna
too little,
last
too
much
late, man.
longer. I think he's got like two. I think he's got two, maybe three more episodes in him for he's gonna die at some point because he seems is that classic kind of guilt ridden syndrome or that he's gonna do something that's gonna cause himself to get killed in the process, whether it be by stupidity or penance for whatever it is, self sacrifice to atone, like something in that aspect, and he's gonna die. So I'm just waiting to see how.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different pieces to break down in this episode. Basically, all we've learned from this episode: Team Green is a mess, Team Black is a mess. Reyna just got sold off to go do a terrible job, but ultimately she might be the only one that gets an actual happy ending here. And everyone knows exactly what scene, if you've read the books, we are completely worrying about, because we know when that is brought on screen, the internet will collectively collapse as one. So that'll be very interesting to see how things are done. And then we're seeing that the high towers are trying to impose what wealth they have to try and push themselves in a position of prominence. But at the same time, they almost got themselves straight up barbecued. So maybe be a little more careful next time and not wear shiny armor in a giant open field when you know that dragons are a very much thing in this day and age, and there's no excuse for that kind of lapse in judgment. Helena's suffering, and Corlys and the Queen Who Never Was are still couple goals. Other than that, I didn't really get too much else to have to break in from this episode. Is there anything you think I missed, Will? Anything you want to talk about with chat? Let me know.
Oh man, I'm kind of waiting to see because I didn't like I was looking at the trailer, I didn't recognize all the like y'all know these dragons offhand looking at them, so I'm just trying to see what's happening.
I don't always recognize them offhand. Like thinking about and visualizing what they are mentally and then seeing them colorized and animated is an entirely different thing. That's why like I struggle like even watching Demon Slayer, like trying to pick up the different names of all the Hashira that are out there, because sometimes what you see and what you're actually able to physically see are entirely different things. There are charts online, Will, if you wanted to Google them, of all the different names of the dragons with the name of their riders. So you can kind of like place who's who does what, who hangs out with who, sort of thing. And you
Yeah,
can kind
like
of get a scope of the size and scale of who's got what. Vhagar is the biggest dragon we have
so,
right now.
who's the one that flew in on the preview?
The
Do you know
huge
which
one,
dragon that is?
the gargantuan one that was flying over the army,
Yeah,
that was Vhagar.
that's Vhagar.
That's Aemon's dragon.
Amon's dragon, right? So he's flying in to go do some damage.
And there's only one other dragon that is in the wild that Daemon was singing to that could even pose semi bit of a threat to that dragon.
And
That's
who's
why
that?
we were all been kind of waiting for Daemon to get that other dragon on screen, but he seems pretty happy with his current dragon. So
What's the name of that dragon?
You'll have to look that one up. That one's name escapes me every time. but he was singing to old Valyrian, and it's just name just currently escapes me. Yeah, just what Sahib said, Vermithor. Thank you.
Vermithor.
Yeah, that's
I'm just
exactly
making notes for myself to be able like, so when I see it, like, okay, is that who it is? I'm trying to learn these names and know who's who.
So everything's either named Aegon or a bastard. That's basically it. And then like going through all these dragons, like Vermithor is fairly large, well seasoned, and able to get this job done. But by the same token, Vhagar is still bigger. It's just who will be the better dragon rider when things happen. So there's a lot to be broken down and a lot of things to really take a look here because there's still wild dragons left to be tamed. No one just necessarily has gone and done so yet, which is interesting to think that you're in a time of war where having the most dragons would be of the most utmost importance, but for some reason just hasn't really sunk in with everybody yet at that moment in time. So it's going to be a definitely interesting thing to see. That being said, I don't really have too much for everybody else. Will, any final thoughts or anything to discuss?
No, I got nothing else with that. I'm just trying to just look stuff up and see what's what. So yeah, I'm just learning. I'm learning. So I'm good to go.
All right, guys, you absolutely 100% know the drill. If you're not currently subscribed, be sure to do so. We're here each and every week to break down House of the Dragons and so many other great shows. If you're over on Twitch, hit that follow button as well. Both are free, both greatly help our numbers as we are slowly working towards our 1,000 subscriber giveaway, with some goodies like these and some potential others for our lucky potential winners when we get to that moment in time. I've been Brent, along with the Will of the Dragons. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you in the next one.